14th ranked Notre Dame plays USC on Saturday. With the Los Angeles Times, I'm Lindsay Theory. This is Gary Klein, and believe it or not, the Trojans still play football. It's been a rough week, to say the least. The Trojans lost head coach Steve Sarkisian, who was terminated from his contract. Clay Helton will take over as interim coach. And Gary, really around USC, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Fifth head coach in less than 2 years. Clay Helton's second time around. It's almost like business as usual, unfortunately for USC. If you talk to the players, Cody Kessler said they're used to it, they got to go forward. He doesn't think they're going to be distracted. I don't think that's going to be possible going into that environment.
They go into Notre Dame, and don't forget, they're actually coming off a loss that seems forever ago against underdog Washington. Plenty went wrong on offense, defense, special teams didn't look great either. But let's start off with Cody Kessler. He threw in 2 interceptions there in the first half. He was sacked several times. What does he need to do to be better?
Well, Clay Helton says every quarterback at any level is going to have a game like that, no matter what. And he's confident that Kessler is going to be able to bounce back. He hasn't had a 2-interception game since going back to 2013, the last game that Lane Kiffin coached. So you'd like to think that Kessler is going to step up. He's going to be able to get back on track. But it's going to be really interesting to watch how USC goes at this game. They're going to have to rely on their running game.
And it's important to note that Cody Kessler will be taking the snaps from a new center. Starting center Max Turk is out for the season because of a knee injury, so Toa Lobendon will be in there. Now, Kessler is somewhat familiar with Lobendon because he's practiced there before, but in a game situation at Notre Dame where it's going to be very loud, this could be a difficult move.
You talk to quarterbacks, they will tell you something that we miss in the media probably, spectators watching at home. It's a very subtle thing between a center and a quarterback. It's not just that where the snap is, it's that confidence that the guy in front of you is going to protect you. And we saw against Washington, 5 sacks. They were able to take advantage of the fact that Turk wasn't in there. So again, I think it's going to go back to USC needs to run the ball effectively if they're able to be able not only to protect Kessler, but to get their offense going.
Now through a couple of practice as the interim head coach, Clay Helton, who is the offensive coordinator and will continue to call plays, has spent a lot of time with the defense. Obviously, USC is going to be up against Notre Dame, which has a strong running game, a great receiver, and even though they're on their backup quarterback, he's capable of doing some damage too. Helton making sure that that defense is really shored up.
And making sure that the defensive players know who he is.
Because that could be a problem.
So he wants to get a good look at that. It is going to take a collective effort to do well at Notre Dame. Some people before the season had them as a team, that possible college football playoff team. They obviously have lost a lot of key players, including their starting quarterback. But to go to Notre Dame, especially under these circumstances with an interim coach, the first game after your coach gets fired, it is not going to be an easy trip for USC.
It's not going to be an easy trip, and Notre Dame Stadium is not going to be easy to play. And in fact, at practice throughout the week, USC was backing a stereo up with its offense, pumping in crowd noise. Gary Klein will be in South Bend. Be sure to follow him for all the latest, and be sure to keep it on the Los Angeles Times and the sports page for all the latest on the Trojans. With Gary Klein, I'm Lindsay Theory.